Hello again, my name is Darren Cope, owner of Cope & Co, a specialist letting agent based in Derby. Now we're talking about the new Renters' Rights Bill, which is bringing in sweeping reforms and will result in a dramatic shift in the private rental sector for both landlords and agents. Now this is the second in a series of videos in which I look at and discuss the different aspects of the Renters' Rights Bill, what it means for landlords and what, as an agent, we can do to help landlords negotiate the changes. Okay, so let's dive in. In the first video, I looked at the abolishment of Section 21s. Now, running alongside this will be the end of fixed-term tenancies. Firstly, just a quick explanation of what a fixed-term tenancy is. It's basically an agreement that lasts for a specific pre-agreed period. Commonly for 6 months or 12 months. Now during this time, both the tenant and the landlord are bound by the terms of that particular contract, meaning that the tenant can't leave and the landlord cannot ask them to leave unless there is a breach of the agreement or indeed by mutual agreement. Now at the end of the fixed term tenancy, the tenancy can do one of three things. It can be renewed for another fixed period. It can be terminated if either party gives the proper notice, or it effectively can roll over into a periodic tenancy, which then continues on a month-to-month basis. Fixed-term tenancies have traditionally provided a bit of certainty for landlords and tenants, setting clear start and end dates. However, they will be no more. Instead, tenancies will default to open-ended, essentially periodic agreements from day one, which will require a minimum of 2 months written notice from a tenant to end the tenancy. Now, this notice can be given at any time from the start of the tenancy, even strangely on day one, which obviously will be very exceptional. Now, importantly, this transition will take place in one stage. Now, in legislations of the past, there has been a period where we can get used to the legislation and we have a cooling off period, if you like. However, with this one, on the date that the bill becomes law, all fixed term tenancies in England will automatically convert to periodic tenancies. And any new tenancies that are created after D-Day, as it were, will essentially be periodic from day one. So we will move from assured short-hold tenancies, or ASTs as they're commonly known, to, I assume, assured tenancies or maybe assured periodic tenancies. We don't know yet. So, back to the tenants having to give 2 months' notice. Now, there are some important caveats and there's important details on this to be aware of. Firstly, the notice, as it is now, has to be given in writing, and how that is served is usually detailed in the tenancy agreement. I keep saying at least 2 months' notice, and this is because the notice must end at the end of a relevant rental period. So what that means, for example, if the tenancy runs from the 1st to the end of the month and the tenant gives written notice on, say, the 12th of February. Now, 2 months from the 12th of February is the 12th of April. However, the tenancy runs from the 1st to the end of the month. So in this case, the notice will expire on the 30th of April. Can't be partway through a tenancy period. I hope that makes sense. Now, while these changes offer clear benefits to tenants, they can pose potential challenges for landlords. As I've said before, fixed terms have provided predictability, giving landlords a clear idea of when a property might become vacant. Without them, planning ahead does become slightly more difficult. So, under current legislation, unless an early termination is agreed with the landlord, there can really only be a maximum of 2 tenancies in a year. An initial 6-month fixed term, followed by another fixed term when the first tenant has vacated. However, with no fixed terms under the Renters' Rights Bill, the situation changes dramatically. So, for example, the first tenant could only stay for 3 months. The next tenant could then stay for 6 months. And then a third tenant moves in. So all of a sudden, there's potentially three tenancies in the year. Potentially increasing void periods and potentially increasing fees for the landlord. Now, if you take it to its extreme, if you're really unlucky, there could actually theoretically be 4 tenancies in a year if the first 3 tenancies only lasted 3 months each. Now, very doubtful, but theoretically still a possibility. Now, if you've got a really good memory, you may recall that July 2018, the Conservative government announced a formal consultation period on the proposal to introduce a minimum term of 3 years for all tenancies. How times have changed, a complete and utter 360. So while the abolition of fixed term tenancies may feel like a dramatic shift, in fact it is, it could also be an opportunity to foster stronger, more stable relationships between landlords and tenants. Tenancy changeovers will need to be smooth and efficient to minimise void periods, and property and tenancy management will need to be top-notch, really, to encourage long-term tenants staying in the property for more than they are now. Finally, just on this, we've created a unique new service for landlords which will help negotiate the impact of the Renters' Rights Bill, especially this particular point, where we have bundled all our lettings and property management services together in one simple monthly subscription. So please watch the final video in the series, which you can access from the page, about our unique Let Simple service. We're here to support you every step of the way. If you want to contact us on any aspect of the bill or anything to do with letting properties, we're here to help, we're here to advise, we're here to guide. Please don't hesitate to get in touch. So this video, if you want to watch it again, and all the other Renters' Rights Bill videos that I've done can be accessed at rentersrightsbill.com. Thanks for watching. I really do hope that you found the information useful.